Welcome back to Headlines. I'm Wes Austin, and these are today's top stories. First up, we'll dive into why AOC is outraged over Daniel Penny being acquitted for protecting subway passengers. Apparently, saving lives is just too much accountability for some. Then Rachel Maddow is back, this time connecting Donald Trump to the death of the United Healthcare CEO in a logic leap so wild, even conspiracy theorists are like, slow down, Rachel. Next, Donald Trump decided to troll Canada's Justin Trudeau by again referring to him as the governor of the great state of Canada. And finally, Connie Chung dishes on Dan Rather in her memoir, revealing he's just as big as a jerk as you thought he was. Spoiler alert, Dan was rather difficult to work with. All right, let's dive in. Representative AOC thinks that the subway would be safer if people like Daniel Penny were locked up, because nothing screams safety like letting violent lunatics have the run of the subway. On Monday, a Manhattan jury acquitted Penny of all charges over the fatal encounter with the unhinged homeless man who began shouting and threatening passengers on a crowded subway. AOC didn't like Penny's belief that he protected innocent lives, instead saying that he had a lack of remorse for his defense of others. Here's AOC on Daniel Penny being acquitted.
If we do not want violence on our subways, and the point of our justice system is a level of accountability to prevent a person who does not have remorse about taking another person's life. And so the fact that a person may express no remorse indicates that there's a risk that it may happen again. And if we do not want to unleash that level of violence, then we should exert a level of accountability to prevent that from happening again.
Yes. We'd really hate to see anyone defending innocent lives when a deranged homeless man starts screaming death threats. It must be nice to lecture about subway safety from your climate-controlled, chauffeur-driven luxury vehicle surrounded by your security detail while sipping on Perrier. When is the last time AOC was on the F train? And I mean the F train on the subway. I didn't mean anything weird by F train. I should have checked the Urban Dictionary beforehand. AOC suggesting accountability for Penny is like blaming the pilot for landing the plane safely after a hijacker tried to crash it. AOC's plan for airplane safety would be banning pilots and just handing out parachutes. Rachel Maddow has done it again, folks. She's now drawn a connection between Donald Trump and Luigi Mangione, the man charged with the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Maddow's logic is like one of those conspiracy corkboards, red strings, blurry photos, and someone who's clearly off their meds. Here's Maddow talking about Mangione.
The fact that he's a professed Unabomber fan is unsettling. I might venture that it's even more unsettling that Donald Trump's reported choice to run the ATF is also a self-professed fan of the Unabomber.
It's like Maddow's playing a game of 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but instead of Kevin Bacon, it's the Unabomber. In order to connect Mangione to Trump, Maddow referred to Blake Masters, who is reportedly in consideration to run the ATF, who once called the Unabomber a subversive thinker during a podcast interview. So from Trump to Masters to the Unabomber to Mangione, and boom, Trump did it. At this point, I'm convinced MSNBC isn't a news network, it's an underground improv show. I haven't seen someone try this hard to connect the dots since my kindergarten art class, and at least that had a picture of a duck at the end. President Trump couldn't resist trolling Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as the governor of America's northernmost suburb. Trump just posted this gem on Truth Social about Trudeau's visit to Mar-a-Lago. It was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon so that we may continue our in-depth talks on tariffs and trade, the results of which will be truly spectacular for all. DJT. Trudeau was governor? Well, he's always been great at governing Instagram posts and costume parties. The Prime Minister's press secretary responded to the post from Trump saying, "Justin will take it, as long as he can still run shirtless through a maple syrup festival at least once a year." In her new memoir, former CBS anchor Connie Chung reveals that Dan Rather was kind of a douchebag. Chung was the second woman and the first Asian American network anchor on CBS Evening News. Unfortunately, her co-anchor was Dan Rather, who also made history for being insufferable. Right after she was hired, Rather took her aside and told her, "Now you are going to have to start reading the newspaper." Dan Rather, the original mansplainer. Rather also told her, "I'll cover the stories out there in the field, and you read the teleprompter." Sounds like he just wanted to be the only one making mistakes in front of the camera. Mission accomplished. Chung also alleges that Rather tried to undercut her and question her journalistic abilities among colleagues. Meanwhile, he's the guy who aired fake documents about George W. Bush's military service without bothering to check if they were even real. Guess when it came to fact-checking, Dan was rather not. Dan Rather, the pioneer of fake news before it was cool. Chung's legacy is inspiring women and minorities in journalism. Rather's legacy? Inspiring people to double-check their sources. Thanks for watching Headlines. I'm Wes Austin. Good night.